Hi, I just wanted my little freeze frame to be super cute, so I had to hold that for a second. Hey, do me a favor, share this video. Let me know where you're watching from, even if you're watching the replay. Let me know you're here. It's always fun to see who comes after, you know, who has real responsibilities and can't watch until later, basically. Today, I got Botox. I don't know if I should be doing my makeup, but I'm going to do it anyways. Another thing is, yeah, I think that's about it. I'm just going to wait for y'all. The more I see about this space capsule, the girl power mission, the more I see about that, the less I believe that they actually went into space. I hate to sound like Josh's granddad, but you see the space shuttle door opening towards the inside. Now, you know what? All the other things I understand, like when they opened it themselves, it's supposed to be a pressurized cabin, etc., etc. If you've ever seen them open an airplane door, there's a reason they open towards the outside, because the pressure pushing on the door helps keep the door closed. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing, but that's my thoughts, is like, why would the door open towards the inside? And it literally looks like a cardboard door. Like the door just swings, and then they close it back, and people are like, oh, watch, this is why it's fake. Jeff Bezos goes over and pretends to unlock it with a key. I get that part. Like if they opened it too soon to check on everybody, and then they were like, oh no, shut it back because we want him to open it for, like, you know, ceremonial reasons, you know. But I think I'm believing less and less that they really went. Katy Perry is a risk. We talked about that yesterday. She's a menace to society. She's killed some nuns. She's stolen some property. Like, crazy. I did hear an interesting story today. Well, we had a lot to talk about. We got to talk about Abram yesterday. We got to talk about Brett Farley and his TikTok series exposing his former baby mama. Karen, I think I agree with you. Have you ever watched a flight attendant open an airplane door? It is literally like a 5-step process. And then you're telling me he just gets this one key and just gives it a good turn. It pops on the ends. I don't think I believe it anymore. Hey, Mary Ray. And then they go up in space and they're not wearing helmets. That seems like a liability. They're not wearing helmets, and they're not, their hair isn't really floating. Like, it's floating a little. That weave should have been all over the place. All over the place. I just found a girl on TikTok who says she thinks those people again. Come on. TikTok. That app will get you all sucked in, and it'll be 6 hours later, and your kids will be like, I'm hungry, Mom. And you're like, shut up. Feed yourself. That's why I had you so young. So as I aged, I could just lay in bed and you could go fend for yourself. All right, so, here's something else we could talk about. Khloe Kardashian. Khloe Kardashian recently, I think she has a podcast now or something. I don't know. She was somewhere talking, and she said that at 26 years old, she was married to Lamar Odom. And remember, he was a drug addict and loved prostitutes, lady sex workers. Good morning, Amy. Hello. Came in at the perfect time. Remember that? And so she talks about this one time where she found out that Lamar was shacked up in a motel in downtown Hollywood, like seedy, gross place. And so she goes into the office and she's like, hey, can you tell me what room Lamar Odom is in? And he's like, yeah, like 501 or whatever. So she marches her behind right to 501. The shades are open. She knocks on the door. Lamar and this woman come to the door, and she beats the brakes off of them. And then the next day was Penelope's cowboy-themed birthday party. So she wrapped her hand in bandanas and never told anyone. What a bad, you know what? What a bad mamma jamma. Hey, Aaron. Toddy for the party. I gotta make myself a note real quick. I have to print this permission slip. Oh, you're live. I am live. Yeah. Print permission slip. Three exclamation points ought to do it. Abram's going on a field trip next year. But first, I have to tell y'all about yesterday at his school. Okay. Christine's still not back. I don't know where she is. Hopefully she finds her way back before we really get kicked off. Okay, so before we get kicked off on another tangent. Okay, so yesterday, this is, I don't know how much of this I can say on a live video without it like triggering something in Facebook to think that, you know, like tipping off the sensors or this, oh my God, that feels so good. Do you ever just rub your eyes and you think to yourself, like, is this how a man feels? He can literally just rub his eyes at any moment. He can literally just like get in there and just, oh, I can't imagine that life, what that must be like, you know? I'm too worried if I tug too hard, I'm going to get lines and wrinkles and all the things. So I just like, usually I do it very gingerly. But honestly, I'd like to get an upper and lower blepharoplasty. So let's just scrub away, you know? I have this weird thing where I feel like if I put too much now my eyes are two different sizes. What just happened? One eye just went bad. I have this thing where if I put too much friction on my skin, I feel like it's giving me like immediate wrinkles, like I'm immediately stretching it. So I'm always very like careful. I don't really like touching my neck or my eyes. I don't really like, I used to pull on them. I try not to do that so much anymore. All right. So anyways, like I was saying, what was, oh, Abram's school. Okay. So yesterday, remember yesterday I was acting like a weirdo on the live video and, I was like, oh, something is going on at Abram's school. I got here on a live video to distract myself. Okay. There was a bomb threat. I don't know if this is like an airplane, if you can't say it here. I don't know the rules. I don't make the rules. I just try to follow them so that hopefully one day I'll have my audience back that Facebook took from me. But, like you're the bomb threat. Mm-hmm. There was one of those yesterday at the school. I wasn't scared, I guess. I feel like I just kind of knew in my heart that it was a threat, thankfully, and I knew that they would keep them safe at school. So I wasn't really like too worried until like other parents started popping off, and I was like, wait, you should be more concerned than you are. Like, I think even Josh wasn't really concerned. Like, he was like, oh, well, I'm sure everything is fine. But I know, Heidi, isn't that crazy? So yesterday, Abram had a threat at school. And here's what happened, okay? They got a call. Sweet little volunteer at the front desk got a call, I think, allegedly. These are the pieces I'm putting together based on context clues. I have not heard this from anyone directly. I have not read this released anywhere. I'm just telling you what I think happened through the kids. And the kids are not reliable sources, so this might not even be what happened. Someone called, hey, you know, get out. I don't know what they said, but they said it. And so then they got, exactly, if Josh is fine, I'm fine. That's my motto in life. So he, I hope so, Teresa. So they should release it. I have a friend that does like FEMA and like crisis stuff, and she said you should see it in about 24 hours. And if you don't see it, that could mean it's a minor involved. So on the holiest week, you know, which our car rider line is a mess. So I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, there are some days that like I get really angry at the school. And like, if you don't have, not at the school, but like at the process, like the dismissal procedure, I'm not saying I would ever do that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I could see how if you were an unstable person, certain things could trigger you, or you're just stupid is what I'm trying to say. So anyways, they took everybody and they evacuated them to an area. But here's where things get interesting, okay? The school just gave a very vague statement. They were like, oh, this is, something is going on. Don't ask what. We've got it handled. The police are on campus. Everybody's been evacuated. Don't worry. We got this under control. For me, that was good enough. I don't know why. I just felt like that's what it was, and I felt like it was probably a farce, and I felt like it was okay. I just felt, I don't know, and probably because Josh didn't panic when I told him. I trust my friends. I got a lot of friends at that school that I know will keep my child safe at all costs. So they didn't tell the kids, though. Exactly. Ombe. There you go. Ombe. There's an Ombe Rete. Anyway, so they evacuated everybody out to the field, to the like an area nearby that's cleared out, and it was fine. I knew everything was under control. I knew it was going to be fine. But then one of the older kids, I felt like that's what it was before anybody ever told me. So then one of the older kids leaked it to their mom, who then got in the group chat and started just spiraling. Collectively, the moms were spiraling. And maybe because it's my third rodeo, I don't know. I tend to not get panicked over things you probably should be panicked over. And like, I tend to get panicked over the things that are insignificant, like we need to talk later, will literally send me into overdrive. But like, your child is having an event at school, did not. So I've been back, Christine. I was looking for you. I was trying to wait to tell this story till you got here. But anyway, so Abram had an Ombe threat yesterday. I need you to read between the lines because we're not sure how much I can say here. So anyways, they did everything great. Had about 10 of those in 2 weeks. Someone learned how to get out of class and kept doing it. Okay, my dad tells this story about how a guy in high school, he wasn't very smart. You know, like you could tell he wasn't functioning on the highest level, but still he drove a school bus. So that was wild. But he went to the courtyard and called one in on the power, on the payphone, and stood there. And they kept him on the line, and they recognized some sounds. They recognized that it sounded familiar, so they walked outside and busted him. Dumbest person ever. Just trying to get a day off. Yeah, not one of those. But okay, so anyway, so then I knew everything was fine, but once the parents started finding out what was going on and they started spiraling, I'm not gonna lie, I did get a little sweaty in the armpits. My armpits got real spicy. My forehead started getting a little spicy. Like I could tell the sweat was thinking about coming out, and I was getting a little nervous, and everything was fine. My friends were there. They were touching base with me, allegedly. They didn't want anyone knowing what was going on. They wanted to keep it kind of like low key. And so anyways, so everything was fine. And then the parents were like, oh, I'm going to pick up my kid. And then we got messages, please don't come pick up your kid. So I was like, well, there's nothing I could do anyways. Well, the parents went anyways, and they formed lines. And they were trying to get on campus. And allegedly, there's a story that a dad, allegedly, this may just be for entertainment purposes, there may be no truth at all behind this, strapped on a bulletproof vest and went sneaking through the area to get photos to confirm that everybody was good. I said, Josh, where were you? Where were you? Do you even love your kid? What do you mean you're at work? You can't go sneaking around shrubbery in a bulletproof vest. What do you mean? I guess we know where we stand, you know. I'll never let my kids forget that. So anyways, everything was fine. I went and picked him up early. He sent word through his best friend, Phoebe, that he was shaken up. So I go up to school, and I'm like, hey, I'm here to get Abram. And the crowd had died down by now. And I'm like, hey, I'm here to get Abram. And they're like, oh, okay, he's got a lot of absences. Are you sure you want to take him? I was like, yes, I do. And I was like, yeah, I heard he was shaken up. And they were like, no one was shaken up. The kids had no clue what was going on. Like, the older kids knew, but the younger kids, they didn't know. They were like, not one person was shaken up. And then my friend was standing there, and she's like, he was not shaken up. I was talking to him. I sent you a picture of him. And I was like, would y'all shut up? He's trying to sneak out of school. So then I got him. I was like, buddy, were you shaken up? He was like, no. He said, no, I enjoyed being outside. It was like field day. And I was like, Phoebe said you were shaken up. He was like, no, I was fine. He's like, I was good. It was fun. We weren't in class. And I was like, were you shaken up? Like, come on. Golly, now's not the time to suck the truth serum down, you know? Like, you're shaken up, right? Golly. I had to, like, skywrite it for him to understand what I was. He's like, what do you mean? Why are you winking? Like, Abram's like that kid where you're, like, kicking him. He's like, why are you kicking me under the table? I'm like, do you want to come home or not? And then Annalie was like, oh, man, this is the only time I actually wish I went to that school. Oh, Phoebe. Phoebe is his bestie. She is precious. I love her so much. They're like the two musketeers. Oh, it is the most precious, sweetest friendship. Oh, I love her. I love her so much. It brings me great comfort knowing he's with Phoebe during the day. So anyways, that's what happened yesterday. So I guess they're still on the prowl. And like, the group chat was lit. These parents were lit. And then they were making me lit. I was like, should I be more concerned? I don't know. Like, should I don't know. Like, everybody was popping off. And then other parents were like, well, nobody said anything in our group chat. I was like, do you want to be added to ours? Because it was lit, popping off. Would anyone? I'll add y'all. I'll add y'all to ours if you're quiet. It was lit. It was lit. And then, like, the official statement came out later, and they were like, it's just crazy. And the way it all of a sudden turned into a game of telephone, like, I heard a few things that ended up not being true throughout the day. And I was like, which I'm still not even sure what's true and what's not, but I heard some things, and I was like, this is wild. Phoebe is the only one that can put up with him, I think. He's the only girl he'll talk to. He loves her. They are like the two best friends. But like, it's that age where things should be weird. You know what I mean? Like, kids are starting to give them a hard time, but they really are like truly the best friends in the world. It's the sweetest thing you've ever seen in your life. And, you know, kids like try to make it weird, and it pisses me off. I'm like, don't make it weird. That's like his, you know, like, why do you got to make it strange? Why do you got to go do that? So anyways, Abram is fine. I say all of that to say Abram is fine this morning. He is back at school. Today's the last day. Tomorrow's Good Friday. He does not have school. I think most schools are out tomorrow. You know what's crazy though? If I was still, remember I was volunteer of the year. If I was still a volunteer, I would have been the one to answer the phone because yesterday was Wednesday. Remember? How about that? How about that? Front line. If I wouldn't have resigned, I would have been in the action. On the news. Thank God. Thank God I wasn't. Because could you imagine if they needed to like interview me or something? I'd be like, hold on. Maybe the phone rang 2 times. No, it rang 3 times. No. I think I picked it up on the first one. Like, it would be just, they'd be so confused. I'd be in the pen. Y'all are going to have to be out next week, and I have to go back. I know. We're a week behind on this. I don't know how much I'll be here next week. And I don't know how much I'll be here next week because it's spring break, and I'm pretty sure, I'm like 90% sure I'm out of here. You know where I'm going. Peace out. So, okay, I can't really see comments. All of a sudden, everything just blanked out. So if you could do me a favor and hit the smileys and all the things, we're going to talk about the Brett Farley story, which is going viral on TikTok. It went viral on TikTok back in October and Instagram. And I stumbled upon it because seriously, Corey, I would have had several heart attacks. I wish you would. I'd be like, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I can't, what? Speak up. There's somebody on the phone. I can't understand a word they're saying. So anyways, okay, so what else was I going to tell y'all? Oh, okay. So there's a guy on TikTok, and I'm going to try to go over this. I had a whole deep dive planned, but I haven't had time to take notes or study them. So I'm going to give it to you the best I can. I highly recommend, though, if you want to know more about this story, you go find him either on TikTok or Instagram. Okay, so what happened is this guy did a video in October, 6 months ago. He did a video, and he talked about this story where he had this lady. He was dumb. He says he was dumb. He admits it. This lady approaches him, a friend of his, and asks him if he will have a one-night stand with her so they can do a little at-home sperm donating, which I'm thinking to myself, is that even like an at-home job? Like, at that point, you're not, unless there's, I feel like unless there's like a baster involved, it's not like an at-home, then you're just doing it. You know what I mean? And she was like, look, I'm not looking for any commitment. You can sign all these papers. I think there were papers involved, or maybe I made that up. Anyways, she was like, look, I'm not looking for commitment. I just want to have a baby. I have no one. I don't know. Sometimes I think that could be a red flag. Oh, Kelly, don't you worry. I got something even better than that coming one day. It's the best deep dive. It's like seriously the best story time I've ever watched on Facebook ever. I mean, on Instagram and TikTok ever. So he does this video where he touches on everything, okay? He's like, this is how I got taken advantage of by an older woman who needed a sperm donor. And so he starts to talk about how this girl friend of his approaches him and says, hey, would you be willing to have a baby with me? I really want a baby. I don't have any family. Like, it's a little red flaggish now that you hear it back. But he said, you know, as a young male, I was only thinking with one body part in particular, and it wasn't his brain. So he's like, yes, I will gladly donate my services to you. So they do the dirty. She gets pregnant, and then she starts like luring his mom in because he moves to California immediately. And he tells her that. He's like, look, I have plans to go to California. I'm out of here. He looks like he's pretty well off. Like, he looks like he's doing well in life, you know. But again, it's social media, you know. So I think it was like, I think she saw him doing well, and she was like, oh, this is the one I'm getting ready to pin down. So she, so then throughout the pregnancy, she starts like luring his parents in. Like, he tells his parents about it. And his parents are like, well, that doesn't sound like a very good idea, but like, what can we do now? You know? So then she's like, oh, Brett's mom, I'm so sorry. I don't have any family or friends. My color looks really weird on the screen, but I don't look like that in real life. She's like, hi, I don't have any friends or family. Would you guys mind coming to the baby shower? Would you mind, you know, doing this, doing that? Do you want to come to a doctor's appointment? Like, he starts reaching out to her mom and, to the guy's mom, his mom, and asking her to be more involved. Oh, first, I know that was weird, Teresa. So anyways, they end up, he posts a picture of like another girl. Like, every time he posts a picture with like an elbow of another girl in it, this one that's pregnant would get like enraged. And like, clearly this was not like just a sperm donor one and done situation. Like, she wanted a relationship. So she thought that was going to trap him. So she's like, this is your child. You need to be here for the birth of your child. I have no one else in my life. And so he's like, okay. So he catches a flight and comes back to, I think Mississippi is where he is. And he goes back to Mississippi, and he's present for the birth. And then he says they walk in with the birth certificate, and they're like, we need you to sign this. And he signs it. He's like, no, don't get me wrong. And he doesn't look like he's firing. I mean, he looks like a smart guy, but it looks like maybe common sense is something he struggles with. And you'll hear more about that throughout the tale. So he's like, okay, I'll sign it. So he signs the paper. Okay. And she's posting all these things on Facebook about like daddy and baby taking a nap, and then like he'll come back for like Christmas, and she posts it, and so it looks like they're in a real relationship by what she's posting on Facebook. So she's like, you know, so then he starts dating this other, or he posts a picture with another girl in it, and she's like, how could you do this to your child? And you can tell it's totally, the relationship is totally pivoted. And now it's not just like a one and done. It's like, I want you here for all of the landmarks. Like Father's Day, you need to be here. Valentine's Day, how could you spend time with this girl on Valentine's Day and not your daughter? And so now he's like, a lot is being asked of him. And so then she gets ticked off and she takes him to court. And she's like, here's what's going to happen. You're going to give me child support. So now he's in a full on like custody thing going on. Like there's a full custody thing going on, and he's in it. I mean, legally he can't. He's a nice guy. He sent her $10,000, and like every time he would sort of push back, she would use the child as control. And he said that he bonded with the child, and like it was his child, you know. So he was like, well, I'm gonna do what's right. This sucks. I got myself in a bad situation, but I'm just gonna do what's right, right? Now that I'm in it and I'm telling y'all this story, I don't think I could do it justice the way it needs to be told, but I'm going to try. But I definitely still want you to go watch it later, because you got to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. So he's like, yeah, $750 a month child support. Plus, he lets her stay in his Airbnb, and he does like basically anything she asks. Anything she asks, he's like, yeah, I guess. I mean, that's fine. And she's like manipulating him like in the worst way. Like anyone who's ever had a friend or gone through a toxic baby mama situation could have seen all the red flags from like 100 miles away. So anyways, he's like, yeah, so then he's paying child support, he's paying for daycare, like he's doing all the things. He's seeing the kid when she'll let him, but then like if things don't go her way, she like stomps her foot and withholds the child, and he'll pay more money. And so she's got it all figured out. Like he's totally getting got. The name of it, it's just his TikTok account. It's Brett Farley. And his Instagram link is a little further up. It's just him telling his story. So anyway, so he finally is like, well, I might go to jail for this because she had a gag order on me, which is why I haven't posted anything in 6 months. But here's what actually happened, okay? So he begins to unfold this story. And part of it, you're just thinking to yourself, like, he really got himself in a predicament just because he's dumb. Like, he did this to himself, and you don't really feel bad for him until it starts to get worse. Because then the lady starts, like, you know, posting on social media and all these things. And then he meets this nurse. Okay, so you may know this nurse if you are on TikTok or Instagram. She is an end-of-life care, like a hospice nurse. Her name is Nurse Hadley. She is so precious. She is literally like the most sweet, like you take one look at her and you're like, okay, she's a good person. So he starts dating Nurse Hadley, right? He buys this house, like they call it the Notebook house, and he's renovating it. And so they're taking trips to Lowe's, and whenever she finds out that Hadley's going to be around, she starts like, the mom of the kid starts like raging, like throws a temper tantrum, will call the police, all the things. She's like, I'm going to meet you at Lowe's and pick up my child because I didn't realize you were going to be around her. And then he's like, I can be around her all I want. So anyway, so Hadley has some experience with divorce and custody and all the things. So she starts advising him like, hey, this isn't right. Like finally somebody with half a brain comes into the situation and starts trying to help him. Okay. Child support. So he's like, so she's still using the child as a pawn, and then she starts talking mean to his mom, and she's like, I'm sorry, but the baby can't see you either. Extortion completely. So she's like, I'm really sorry, but the baby can't see you either, Grandma, because your son is making bad decisions and I don't like it. And the mom is like, whoa, but what does this have to do with the child? You know, please consider the child. So one night they're laying in bed, and Hadley, he says, I have something to tell you. And she's like, what? And he's like, I took a paternity test. It's not my child. Now, there are so many other details I'm leaving out, so you have to go back and watch this yourself. But she basically starts like an online like smear campaign. And he keeps it to himself for a few days that it's not his child. And then he starts trying to connect the dots. And then finally he says, hey, that's not even my child. And the woman goes radio silent. Not another word from her, which is the first time she's ever shut up because she's running her mouth the whole time. She also has a cousin that is coming hard for him that says she's Miss Vietnam and she's a reality star and she's a model. And then come to find out none of that is true. And, you know, is trying to get Hadley's kids taken away, starts trying to get together. So anyways, he, through all of his journeys, he starts trying to find out, like, what is going on? Why is she telling me this child is mine when it's clearly not? I would get a different lawyer, Krissa. So he has a 3-ring binder full of receipts. He does. He has a 3-ring binder and he's reading directly out of it. He's like, I don't care if this gets me sent to jail. She has hurt my girlfriend, Hadley. She has hurt so many people. I want revenge. Not only that, but she has taken away this baby's real dad, any chance of this baby's real dad getting to spend these moments with her. And he's like actually choked up. Some of this did one of my friends on 2 kids. Craziness. Crazy. People, the things people do blow my mind. So they start trying to trace this back, right? And they find that there's 2 people that are very invested in his story. It's 2 of her friends and they own a charter boat company. And he's like, but why are they so invested? Like they are literally running like the campaign more than the actual mother of the child. They are like messaging people. They're reaching out to these Stan accounts, these crazy accounts on TikTok, telling them things about Nurse Hadley that's not true. And they are literally like trying to burn him in life. And he's like, but why would they be so invested? Okay, because the child's actual father, the real father, is a man who is married and has a child. Then he realizes they are partners with that man, the actual dad, is partners with the 2 people who are trying to ruin his life, the friends of the mom. They're partners in a fishing charter. And guess what? In Mississippi, if you can prove someone was unfaithful, and a child would be pretty good proof of that, they could take everything. She could take this business from the father of the child and the 2 friends because they all 3 own it. So then he starts putting all these pieces together and he starts making sense. Like all these people have skin in the game and they're like all connected somehow. So they don't want it getting out that this guy is really the father, because then it means these 2 friends would lose their business. So it's just the most tangled web. It is the best story time I have ever heard. He literally has this binder he shows in every video. He talks about like, you know, the receipts, like, and the editing is spectacular. I don't know if this is Nurse Hadley doing his editing. I don't know what's going on, but the footage and the way he documented every single thing and kept screenshots of every single thing in a 3-ring binder is diabolical. It had to have been Hadley that was like, hey, look, this is what you need to do. You need to start printing off every single screenshot, filing it away. We're going to build a case. And it seems like every time he went back to court, something would happen. Like the judge would side with this woman. And so the judge, I got it reduced because his income is increased. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. So he keeps going in front of a judge and a judge keeps saying, no. So anyway, so then they start saying, well, his wife or his girlfriend is allegedly, or is a nurse, so they could have falsified some of these documents or paternity tests or whatever. And so he's like, do a court-ordered one. So they do a court-ordered one, and LabCorp swabs his cheek, swabs the baby's cheek, 0% paternity. So the letter comes and he opens it with Hadley and she's like, look at me, we can do whatever you want. If you just want to forget this ever happened and you want to not acknowledge and you just want to keep things going the way they're going, I fully support you. We don't have to take this to court, like, you know, all the things. And he's like, no, I think we need to, because he felt bad. So it's just the craziest story ever. And the lengths that women will go to, women are crazy. We are a crazy species. And, you know, you link up with a man who's not very bright on the street side of it. And I mean, it's just a recipe for disaster. So he ends up going to court, and he's still in the middle of it. I mean, this has been like, the child is like 3 or 4 now. He gets a tattoo with the baby's name, which is Love. And then he gets to strike through it. He said not to like strike out the baby, but because, you know, the love, he said it was so traumatic. And they were like spreading rumors that Nurse Hadley had her children taken away, and then they were making her life a living hell. And it got picked up by a lot of these like pages on these like tea pages on TikTok that try to expose people, and it wasn't even true ever to begin with. Isn't that crazy? And he was like, they literally showed up with pitchforks and torches ready to like ruin my life with zero evidence other than what this lady was telling them. And they believed it all. And so now he's like, he's not supposed to be talking about it, but I think he got to a point, which I've been to this point before, when somebody pushes someone that you love and they keep pushing and pushing and pushing, eventually you get to a point where you're like, I don't care what happens. I want to get my side out there. Like, I don't care. When I lost my job, you put them on insurance for I was paying. I don't know how you afford to live. So that was just the craziest. That whole story, if you haven't watched it, you got to go watch it. It really needs to be a documentary on Netflix. I'm not sure what legal things, but that lady is still going live, and she still is saying things like Maria, the mom of the baby, is still claiming it's his child. So then today, in part 11 that he released, he starts talking about her former best friend reached out to him and was like, hey, she always knew it wasn't your child. I'll testify. I'll do whatever you want me to do. And he was like, well, why do you want to get involved? And she was like, oh, because she did me wrong. She literally linked up with my ex-husband and started trying to ruin my life because I'm dating the baby's father. It's such a wild web of lies. It is crazy. They need to compensate him. That's so messed up. He has spent so much money and, you know, time and everything. It's just really sad. At the end of the day, it's really sad because there is a child involved, and I don't understand how women could do the things they do. Like, I follow this other page that tells like small town gossip. Like, you submit your story and then they talk about it. This one lady submitted her story and she was like, I've been keeping this secret for 11 years. I was sleeping, I talked my husband into getting a vasectomy because we were going to be young, wild, and free, and we're going to travel the rest of our lives. And that ended up backfiring because she cheated on her husband with the guy at work and got pregnant. So she quickly talked her husband into reversing his vasectomy, and then was like, oh, it worked. I'm pregnant. And she made a big deal out of it. And then the husband still doesn't know to this day. And it's like 11 years later. What? I know. And she said, I just look forward to the day you talk about this on your video, that you expose my story anonymously on the video so that I can sleep again, because I haven't slept for the past 11 years. Well, his name is Brian Dale, and he owns a charter service allegedly out of Biloxi, Mississippi, or an area nearby. I found him today. Thankful I have my rental. Prior to my marriage, my mortgage is super cheap because I bought it in the crash. I don't know how you're living. You're welcome, Leslie. It's the least I could do. His name is Brett Farley, and it is the craziest story, and the way it's edited is even better. Like, he does this one video called Don't F with Cats, and he talks about how they basically reverse searched this lady that was giving them such a hard time on the internet. They basically reverse searched her and found out everything about her, and so they just exposed everything about her life. And she had, like, she said she was a model, a reality star, Miss Vietnam, and then turns out none of that is even true. It's crazy. And they're still claiming that he's lying and making all of this up. And she's sending him, like, gag orders. You know what's really crazy is, like, it goes to show you in certain situations, like, the judicial system is not always fair. Like, if you get a judge that's partial to one side or the other, it's done. Like, it's a wrap, you know? If you've got one person who's a better liar than the other person, you don't stand a chance. So now he's got a binder of receipts that he's ready to pull out and expose. That's crazy. It is crazy. I'll never understand women who could do stuff like that. Wait till these kids do I know. That's a good point, Mary Ray. Did y'all hear about the lady who, I listen to a show in the morning, they do a segment, My Little Secret, and people call and admit is the stuff people, I know, isn't that crazy? I always think to myself, like, even if I did have like a deep dark, I can't really think of anything juicy enough that I would want to, like, everybody's got secrets, but I can't think of anything that I know that would be juicy enough to expose and like be of any excitement. Like one time I was at Walmart and I was 21 and I pushed out my cart and my deodorant was in the bottom of the cart and I didn't pay for it, allegedly. Like that. And I put it in my car and I drove off. I stuffed it in a bag, put it in the car and drove off. Like I can't think of anything that would be so diabolical that it would come back later on and, knock on wood, I can't think of anything that would be so juicy that years later I'd have to worry about. Like, and I can't imagine. I always think about these people and I'm like, when people like post things anonymously on Facebook and groups and stuff like that, I always think to myself, like, are they not worried that one day that feature could go away or someone could hack Facebook and then they would be exposed? It would be like, then you would see, like, I just don't believe anything is truly ever anonymous. I don't think there is one thing in the world that is truly anonymous. What can I say? Living on the edge. I don't think so. So when I see people do stuff like anonymously and they admit something so like insane and crazy, I just think to myself, like, what if, you know, like Reddit, like people would do ugly things on Reddit. And there's like one girl on TikTok who was being harassed and she ended up like doing a deep dive on this person and she found them and she made a video about them. She's like, hello, Linda, that works in the x-ray department at this. And the lady had made like a fake account and left a mean comment. And turns out she was like a nurse and she exposed her. And I was like, I don't think anything, I have some, but they aren't my stories to tell. I'm extremely boring. I'm very boring too. I do have enough screenshots and voice recordings, not my own voice recordings I was sent to do like a 57-part TikTok that would be so juicy, so crazy. I would go viral for sure. But Josh was like, you gotta be the bigger person, blah, blah, blah. Where's the fun in that? That happened to me with cat food one time on the bottom of the cart. In my defense, I told the lady, shit scam. It's all yours. It's all yours, sister. So, but I do think about stuff like that. I'm like, I see people telling these crazy stories over on TikTok, and I'm like, I feel like I could run with the best of them over there. Hey, Laura, good morning. Thank you for sharing. I feel like I could hold my own over there. Doug Roosh on my page thought he could hide. I made it my life's mission to find him and expose him. Nothing brings me greater joy. Not one thing brings me greater joy. I just love it. The national news will pick up my stories. I'll be the bigger person. Yeah. Where's the fun in that, though, you know? If I die, delete the screenshots. If I die, don't delete mine. Make an account. Somebody have a good time with it. Do you know what's crazy? I found out the other day. This made me sound like a psychopath. I found this out. South Carolina is a one-party state, so you can record someone and you don't have to tell them as long as you know you're recording the person. Isn't that crazy? That reminds me of the joke. The girl's in her room praying, rest in peace, Daddy. And then the next day, Dad walks to work all day. Mom says, where have you been? She says, well, you couldn't be any worse than mine. I had the mailman drop dead. That's crazy. But yeah, I think it's a crazy time to be alive. And I see the stories that people tell on social media, and I'm like, I'm sucked right in every time. I can't get enough of it. I cannot get enough of it. You give me some drama that has nothing to do with me, I'll turn it into a PowerPoint presentation. I just love it. I'm glad I'm alive at this time right now. Like, I'm glad I'm alive in a time where technology is so interesting. I'm way too nosy to have had to look things up in an encyclopedia. Okay, let's do eyebrows. So that's that story. I highly recommend. I didn't even do the story justice, so I really recommend you go over to TikTok and look up Brett Farley and then start with part 1 and go through all of the parts. If you have a road trip coming up, just let it play in the background like a podcast. Only thing you're gonna miss the screenshots if you're just listening to the audio. But it's good. He's got receipts of everything. Michigan isn't, and Matt recorded me and got in trouble during our divorce for it. I found 8 recorders. Oh my gosh. I took them and never said a word about it. Oh my gosh. Really? Dang. Come on down to South Carolina, where you can record whoever you want. I wonder if I'm the... Yes, Kendra, I don't know what kind of life you're living. Listen, I used to be like you. Everybody here on this page in 2020 told me not to go to TikTok because I would die there, that the Chinese would get all my information. Honestly, I share everything on my live videos. What is really secret? Like, what do they want? My social? You can have it. I don't know what you're going to do with it. It's not going to get you very far, but you can have it. So I wish that I had gone over to the other app sooner. I wish I wouldn't have listened, because like in 2020, everybody was like, no, you're gonna die if you download it. You'll get the vid and you'll croak if you download that app, and then they'll have all your children's information. I'm like, don't you guys have all that here on Facebook anyways? Like, what am I really exposing? So now trying to build over on TikTok has been like an uphill battle, because I'm behind the curve now. So like, to get things moving over there is really something. I wish I could turn back time, because that's what I would do, me and Cher. If I could turn back time, I would go over to TikTok and I would make that my place, because I just choked. Because that is like, it's a lot of fun over there. It really is so much fun. Don't let your boring family tell you otherwise. It's so much fun. You want to keep the house, put anchovies or some kind of fish in the curtain rods. I saw that. I have a story for entertainment purposes. You know, it's just kind of like, here's what I think. I think that this eyebrow is significantly lower than that one. Anyways, yeah, I feel like that would definitely get things up and moving, Christine, for sure. Because here's the difference in the two apps. Over here, I think last month on Facebook, I think I made $7 just from you guys watching the video. I'm not talking about like commission and stuff like that, but just money from the actual Facebook app for you guys watching. I made like $7. over on the other app, people are making like commas. Like there are commas in the money that they're getting from people watching their videos. It's just a much better compensation plan over there than it is here. So I wish I'd done that. I wish you would have called me. I always wonder why you weren't over there. Yeah, that's why everybody was like, no, we won't follow you. We'll never see you again. I should have told those people where to stick it, you know, because now look at me. Now would you look at me? My problem is I've got a ton of stories, but they're other people's stories. It's the equivalent of a 6 tape, like the card. Here's another thing I thought about, Christine, since you know what I'm talking about, that I've considered. Let me see. Be tactful. I thought about, okay, do y'all remember a few months ago, if you are a Real Housewives of Atlanta fan, then you will remember, thanks, Leslie. No, I'm happy here, don't get me wrong. It's just financially, I feel like things could be going better, you know? Anyways, I was going to tell y'all, so I really want to just get paid to tell stories. I don't want to like rely so much on like, you know, sales and all the things like that. Like I really would just, I like sharing the products I share, but like also I just wish I could, I just wish it was, I wish I had other, okay, anyways, let me tell y'all a story. Okay, so on the Real House, okay, I need you. These are the lines. I need you to read between them, okay? I'm gonna tell y'all a story. So there was this photo of a person in a very compromising situation, okay? So Kendra from Real Housewives of Atlanta did not like this lady, and somehow she got a hold of this photo. Maybe the person she didn't like just sent it right to her. You never can tell, you know? Anyways, she had this big event. It was like the cast, like, you know, in the Real Housewives, like they're very strategic. Like if you're hosting a party, the first party that's hosted of the season is always like the biggest deal, right? So that's why, like when you're watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and they are having like a white party or something like that, and it's like the first episode, it's to go ahead and get the storyline up and going. Like it's to build momentum for the season. It's kind of like a big deal if you're the person that's chosen. Anyway, so Kenya throws the first party of the season, and she takes a photo of this girl that she doesn't like. She gets her hands on this photo and blows it up life size, bigger than life size. It was like 20 feet tall, poster size. Puts it up at this event. She got in a lot of trouble, I think. But wouldn't it be crazy if you guys just tuned in here one day and I had a new backdrop and it was crazy? That would just be so crazy. That would be so crazy. For entertainment purposes only, of course, I would never do anything like that. But, you know. Anyways, so where else was I going to go with this? So anyways, you know, you just sometimes you think to yourself, like, people must not know what you're capable of, which is fine, whatever. Good news is I'm a nice gal. Anyway, so what do you guys have planned for Easter? Does anybody have any exciting plans? I really wanted ham in the comfort of my own home. And my mother-in-law does not want to do that. She wants to go somewhere. So I have been in charge of Easter. I've been in charge of facilitating Easter brunch or whatever. Like I have to get that together. So I started calling around places, and I don't know if you know this about me. I don't know if you know this about me. It's pretty obvious, but I can hold a grudge, and when I hold a grudge for a very, very long time. Like, I still remember David Nussbaum told me I had a witch nose when I was in 5th grade, and I still think about him occasionally and hope that he's bald. So anyways, I can hold a grudge for a long time. Okay. So I called to make reservations yesterday because I'm thinking to myself, okay, no, it was 2 days ago. It's 2 days ago. And I was thinking to myself, okay, it's Tuesday. Like, surely, you know, people don't have their plans like all figured out yet. Like, who does that? Who has their plans figured out more than a week in advance, you know? So I'm thinking to myself, oh, you know, there's probably still some reservations. So I start calling around. There's no reservations anywhere. And I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know what we're going to do because there's no reservations anywhere at the places I've tried to go. And there's 8 people. So I'm getting a little concerned. I ended up making reservations somewhere that I really truly don't want to go, just as like a last resort type of thing. But this one lady at this one restaurant, she answers the phone. I'm like, hi, I wanted to see if you had anything. She's like, the week of Easter? You think you're gonna get reservations and you're calling the week of Easter? So that didn't work out, and I'll never go back there ever again. As a matter of fact, I made reservations for a future date. And something might come up. So anyways, I'm now like freaking out every day. So I have to figure this out today. I have to call the last few places. The one place I really want to go, brunch, $63.99. $63.99. That's the place I really wanted to go. And Josh was like, how much are our kids going to eat? And I was like, that's a great point. They're never going to eat. Like, not even me. I don't eat a lot at one time. So buffets, although I love them, are not the most like cost-effective option for me. I like to order off a menu and then I can take it home later. Per person, $63.99 per person. It's a restaurant where Josh had my 40th birthday party. And but it's a little bit of a strange menu. It's like sushi and then ham and like a carving station and stuff. And I was like, I don't know about that. And honestly, I don't think my in-laws are gonna go for $63.99. I don't think I'm going to go for a $63.99 brunch. Like, what could be on it, you know? I mean, I'm lying. I would totally pay for that, but make it at home on the patio. Liz Doyle Beauty and Buffet. Liz Doyle Beauty and Catering. That's a nice ring. So yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to do yet, but today I've got to figure that out. I've got to figure out what we're doing. I've got to get a plan. And Josh is like, will you please stop calling me while I'm working and asking me these questions? Will you please just figure it out? And I'm like, okay, fine. So I've got to figure that out today. We don't really have many plans other than going to church and then going out to lunch. And then I hope to be coming to you live next week, not from here. But I won't know for sure. Also, my car is kind of on the fritz. Might be time to put it to rest. R.I.P. RIP. So anyways, they won't ask you. They do though. They always do. And then Josh was like, well, don't forget Mother's Day is coming. So if you want to go to that one place for Mother's Day, you need to go ahead and call. And I was like, I don't want to call for Mother's Day. Like I tell you every year, there's only one place I want to go, and I just wait for you to do it. And he always forgets. So I did. I made reservations for it the other day. I went ahead and made reservations for Mother's Day too. Yeah. So, yeah, my covered wagon is getting ready to go on to glory, I believe. Josh drove it today. And he called me and he was like, you've been riding around in this piece of crap. And I was like, I told you. And he's like, you didn't tell me how bad it was. And I was like, no, I told you. I did. I tried to tell you and you wouldn't listen to me. Like one day I didn't have air conditioning and I called and I was like, hey, the AC is out and it's hot and we're sweating. And he's like, oh, I don't know. And then the AC came back. So I was like, oh, look at the Lord. So, but I think the old covered wagon is going to go on to glory soon. I'm sad, but at least Josh knows now. But he's like, I honestly can't believe you've been driving around in this. I was like, me neither. I tried to tell you. You said it wasn't that big of a deal. So whatever. What do I know? I just put gas in it when it tells me I need to. And I don't even do that half the time. I ask you to do that. Thank you. I told you. I was like, look, this is wrong with it and this is wrong. He was like, he called me this morning. He was like, oh my gosh, has it always done this? It's like bucking. And I was like, yeah, I tried to tell you. He's like, dude, this thing is a piece of crap. I was like, I tried to tell you. Golly. Yeah, Cindy, I did. Yeah. And honestly, it's my own fault. Exactly, Krista, exactly. So, it's my own fault. No, I have my Bronco, but so I have sentimental attachment to things. So Josh wanted to trade my large, like, family travel car in, and it's 100 years old, and honestly, it's probably time to let it go, but I'm just so attached to it. Like, one time I had a job, and I bought this dining room table, and then Josh gave the dining room table away to his brother, and it was just a pure, simple fact. Like, he could have had the dining room table. That wasn't what it was about. It was the fact that, like, it was my table I paid for. And so I, like, raged out for, like, a week, and then I was fine. But I form unhealthy attachments to things. And I'm like, and so Josh has been like, it's time to get rid of that car. It's time to get rid of that car. And I've been fighting him. But now, apparently, it's a safety concern. Matt's driving my Camry, and I'm still pissed about it. Oh, no. I mean, it's an old SUV. It seats 1,000 people. It does the job. You feel like you're sitting in your living room because the leather is just broken in so perfectly. And there's milkshake on the headliner, but as long as you can ignore that, it's chocolate milkshake that's sprayed all over the car. As long as you can get past that, it's the most comfortable car in the world. It doesn't feel like the most sanitary. Like, there's things in the cup holder that have been there for like 7 years. But as long as you don't need to put your cup in it, it's fine, you know? I have an old Chevy Tahoe with like 250,000 miles. Single mom syndrome for me. Not an actual diagnosis. Oh, I just thought back. Lizzanese. But I just love it. They don't make comfortable cars, and it has a smell. I used to use, back when I cared about it, I would use this leather conditioning stuff, and it smells so freaking good. It smells like, I don't even know how to describe it, but like your clothes will smell like it when you get out, and so I like to smell my sweatshirt, so like it would smell like it if I'd been driving it for the day. It was just like a warm, I don't know. It just smelled so good. I sound like a weirdo now. I hope Josh doesn't trade it in or like sell it or anything before I get to tell it goodbye. I would be sad. But Josh was like, oh my God, I can't believe you've been driving our children around in this thing. I was like, it's okay. If it starts shaking, you just let off the gas, tap on the left-hand side of the dashboard, roll your eyes 3 times, and it goes away. Those are my miles. It's got 1 million miles on it. I drive a lot. It is like a security blanket. Josh is appalled. He's like, I am really questioning a lot of things right now. Like the fact that you have been driving our children in this. It's got like a shake. So it, you know, the strips on the side of the road that you're, you know, the strips on the side of the road that when you run them over, it's zzz, and it wakes you up. Well, my car does that without running over those strips. It does it on zzz. And Josh was like, it feels like I'm running off the road. I was like, yeah, but you're not. It's just a slight vibration. He's like, Liz, this is so much more than a slight vibration. So will you get, I think I'm going to have to get another covered wagon. I don't know what it will be. I think I'm going to have to get something else. Because that's like our family car. No, Cheryl, it does it on its own. Like I run off the road and it vibrates, but like it does this when you're in the lane and you're driving. It's not an actual sensor on the car. It's the transmission. Takes you on a little ride. It's like zzz. It's not a safety feature. It's actually the polar opposite of whatever a safety feature is. It's a liability. It's a risk. But that's my travel car. We got many, many miles on that thing. Like, I followed Ava to school in that car. Once she got her license, I've took my children to Disney World in that car 100,000 times. Like, we've had some good memories made, and it makes me sad. They sprayed a milkshake on the headliner. Like, that one time, a Coke exploded in the very back. Like, the time I dropped my wedding rings down in between the seats and they were gone for like 6 years. Lots of memories. Lots of memories. Yeah, it had to be towed not long ago. It's got this thing. Oh, it's so embarrassing. But I'll tell y'all because we're all friends here. It's got this weird thing going on that I've been struggling with for years. And this is why Josh was like initially wanting to get rid of it. But I was like, no, it's not that big of an inconvenience. And he's like, oh, okay. All right, then let's keep it. Yeah, it had to be towed. It's like a 2016 or something. 2016, 17, something. No, I'm pretty sure that's the transmission coming out. But it's got this other really cool thing it does. I mean, when this is what you got to do to crank it up and you're still fighting to keep it, this is when you know you have issues. Avenue, you kind of like, you don't even want to know what I want. I love cars. If I had a lot of money, I would be like, I'd have like 20 garages full of just cars because I love cars. I grew up and my dad was in the car business and I've driven like every car in the world at some point. And I will say a Hummer is by far the most difficult. No, Josh's truck is the most difficult thing I've ever driven. A Hummer is hard to park, but it's doable. Josh's truck is impossible. I mowed over the things at Chick-fil-A in that truck. I worry that I'm going to run somebody over and not even know it whenever I have to drive his truck. It's scary. I try to avoid it as much as I can. But anyways, okay, so my car has this cool little thing it does where it'll lose power. You might be driving. And boom, lights out, baby. It's lights out. You can't even steer it. You just got to hope for the best and just coast down the road. You can steer it like enough to get it off the side of the road. So sometimes I'll be in a parking lot and I'll have to pop the hood. And I got to get under the hood and I got to wiggle this battery cable. And when I wiggle the battery cable, sometimes you got to wait until the wind blows perfectly in one direction for it to crank back up. And so I'm quite the mechanic now. Like I pop the hood. It's so embarrassing though. It is a little embarrassing, but like still not enough to get a new car. And usually I drive that car because I have a ton of kids to drive around on these days. So I'll use the bigger car. And I don't feel like these stories are making sense anymore, but we're on it. So you might as well keep going. So I got to pop the hood. I have to walk around the car, get under the hood, and then I have to wiggle this battery cable. And then I have to like, where it attaches to the battery, I have to like, and then eventually, after a few minutes of doing that, you hear it go ting, 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 and it comes back to life. And it never fails. As soon as I pop the hood, a helpful person will stop and ask me if I know what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, I'm just putting wiper fluid in. Like I used to be like, I have to wiggle this cable, and then they'd try to help, and then they would think I need a jump start, and I know that's not what it needs. It needs me to wiggle this cable. And so now I'm just like, oh no, I'm just putting wiper fluid in there. Don't worry. It's just, I just need new washer fluid, or I'm just checking the oil. I don't know how to check oil. I don't know what I'm doing. That's what it is, Shannon. That's what it is. Well, recently when it happened, it got towed and they replaced the starter because they said it was the starter, but I knew it wasn't the starter because the whole car would lose power. And so I was just like, Josh, you're replacing the starter, but that's not it. He's like, they said this is it. I was like, that's not what's wrong. And so they replaced the starter. I was doing it again. And then a sensor would go bad and only the heat would work in the car, and it would tell me that I need to check my engine. That light would come on, tell me what to check, and then I would just ignore it and just keep driving, and then eventually the thermostat starts working again and the air's working. It's fine. Fine, I know how to work it now. It's like, you just gotta know what you're doing. Check those wires. If they hit metal, it will cause it to die. Look at us. We're just modern day girls. Girls in STEM. We're still accomplishing more than those astronauts. So, yeah. The seats massage, though, that still works. That feature still works. The bottom of the heated seat doesn't work, but like the back part does, and it still massages. So I like that. Oh, man. I just love it. It's been the best car I've ever owned in my life, and it's literally like sitting on your couch. You don't have to put much effort in. You just barely hold on to the steering wheel, and it does the rest of the work for you. I love it. It's my favorite car I've ever owned. But now it's put a bad taste in Josh's mouth, and he was like, I will never buy one of these ever, ever, ever again. He's like, once I peel these keys out of your hand and get rid of it, I will never buy another one ever again. But Josh was like, I mean, he was really shocked this morning. He was like, I cannot believe you've been driving this like this. I'm like, I don't know. You just gotta know what you're doing, Josh. That's all. I did tell him the air was broken, and he didn't seem to care, and then it came back on, so that was cool. So anyways, I don't even know how we got on that subject today, other than Josh has taken his life into his own hands. He just doesn't know how to work it like I do. I kept my Mercedes alive for 3 years with a McDonald's. How? Look at us. We are girls. We can do a lot of things. Look at us go. I'm proud of you. Donald straw. And the kids hate that. Every time everything goes black and I have to pop the hood, they're always like, you're embarrassing us. Why can't you park further away if you're going to do this? Like as if I have any control over the fact that I've now got to get on, you know, get a monkey suit on and get under the hood, you know? I do. I may have this car thing figured out, but there are many other reasons I should not be left to my own devices. I do. I need one. The one I have. And he knows what he's doing. He knows. I just like being able to cut my little brain off for a little while and just coast. Hey, Sandy. I can't. I suck at car stuff. And it's so long. You could literally fit like 1,000 people in the car if you wanted to. There's a leak somewhere, so find the leak and snip the line. Oh my gosh. I'm proud of us. But as like a car person that really loves cars, all the cars I could think of that I would want, I would never pay that much for them. Like cars are outrageous right now. But like all the technology that's coming out is so cool. Who needs flying cars? All right, well, as long as I can watch a little Netflix and it will drive itself, who needs a flying car? I do want a car that will drive itself, though. I just want to be able to kick back, glance up every now and again. Oh my gosh, I just ruined that. What was that? Hey, okay, I'm just rambling now. So I'll see you guys maybe in a little while. I don't know if I'm going to go live again or not. So make sure you have your notifications turned on. I got to call and make sure Josh is still kicking. I'm always getting ripped off too. I went and got a really expensive oil change. Didn't even film. Oh, listen. Don't go to that Take 5 place. Don't go there. You're better off going to a dealership, like where you actually could buy a new car. You know what? Just go ahead and just go buy a new car. That's where I get to that point. They say with the tariffs, now's the time to buy. Oh my gosh. Going to a car. Oh, Mary Wright, are you going to Mannheim in Hollywood? I've been to that one before. That's exciting. That's really exciting. I could ride around all day and just look at cars, even if they're cars that are like not quite antique yet, but like not, you know, like even cars from like the 90s or 2000s. I'll never forget, Josh has a work truck and you have to roll the window down like this. And you have to lock the door like this. So you gotta go like this and you gotta go boop. And I said, Abram, roll your window down. He said, I don't know how. There's only one button over here and then there's this thing hanging off the door. All right, well, I'll see you.